So Plzen, Leipzig, Viitorul, Zenit. I would say Viitorul and Plzen the most likely, then Zenit and then Leipzig. I don't think we'll get the Leipzig job. Okay. The first one of the hopeful job interviews have come through. FC Viitorul. And here they come, offering us the manager role. We've got a huge transfer budget and a much bigger wage. Well, not quite. We've got an extra £50,000 a week to spend on wages. So for me, this is a very good job to go to. So what I'm going to do is delay this, finish the episode, and then we'll see if these other clubs come back to me. And when I was recording in between episodes, one of the clubs did come back and offer us a job interview. Zenit St. Petersburg came big and offered me a job interview, which of course we took, and I did the job interview, and they came back afterwards and offered me the job at St. Petersburg. But again, I thought, I want to try and wait to see if Leipzig and Viktoria Plzen come back, so I delayed that job. However, we can't delay things any longer because Viitorul have come back and said, can you have an answer now, please? And I asked to delay it, and they said, you can't delay it. So a bit of a situation on our hands now. And so that leaves us here, where we've had an approach from Zenit St. Petersburg, and they've agreed to delay it. Viitorul, we can't delay this anymore. They need an answer now. Okay. In the meantime, we're also still waiting on Leipzig and Viktoria Plzen, which is difficult. It's difficult because we could be rejecting Viitorul. We've got the Zenit job, but is that really where we want to go? Do we want to try something slightly new with Viitorul, or cancel that? Have the backup of Zenit, but run the risk of maybe not getting Leipzig or Plzen when really maybe Viitorul is maybe where we want to go? Let's weigh this up very quickly. So Viitorul, Romania, we've not been there before. Media prediction of first in the table. So, okay, maybe that's not quite a challenge. I mean, it is a challenge because last season they came fourth, didn't they? In fact, this is still the media prediction for this season. So they're currently fourth. Well, the season's not 100% ticked over yet, but they came fourth by quite a long way, which suggests they're not the best. But it's to say here, their team, media prediction-wise, is the best. Okay. They're rich, really good facilities, estimated value of £326 million. That's like nearly 4 times what Partizan's worth. Let's double-check this as well. Romanian First League has all just ticked over competition reputation. It has dropped down from 14th to 16th, which is going to affect the number of European places we get, whereas the Serbian Super League has jumped up from 19th to, or 15th to 12th actually. So that's only had a big jump up the Serbian Super League where we are right now. So going to Romania could be it's a little slight step back in terms of league standing. A little slight step back, but the club is better off than Partizan, you could say. Maybe not quite. And then both Partizan and Viitorul are 3.5 stars of reputation. So they're both pretty much same sort of reputation-wise. But we've got a bit more going for us here. It's a new league as well, where we could do quite well. We've got Europa Conference League football. We could win that maybe. Okay. Zenit, obviously, they are very rich. Superb facilities, really rich. They're in the Europa League as well. I think we could actually win that with Zenit. I think that's something we could actually go on to win. We've got a good enough team to do that. Obviously had a bad season last season, which is why their manager's been sacked and why we are being offered the job, essentially. Media prediction of seconds. And I honestly, I would just love to go back to Russia to absolutely spank CSK Moscow and show them what for. Show them why they shouldn't have sacked me. I think we could do a really good job here. Really good. Russia has certainly got unfinished business for me. Certainly got unfinished business. And I want to come back here at some point. But are we ever going to have a better opportunity to come back to Zenit St. Petersburg? Oh, I don't know. I don't quite know. And then we've got to think about Viktoria Plzen and Leipzig. And I've said from about all season that my next job, I want it to be in the Czech Republic or Croatia. And if Plzen come through, they're not quite as big. They're not quite as valued highly. They've not got quite good facilities as Viitorul. Reputation's pretty similar. Then the Champions League, though. Champions League is very important to us. We wanted to be in the Champions League. And have they qualified straight for the group stages of the Champions League? No, best place playoff, third qualifying rounds. We've got to go through a couple qualifying rounds with them, but it's Champions League football. And you know what? And Leipzig, of course, as well. 1.3 billion. And that's just another level, isn't it, really? But they're not. They're not the Leipzig that we know and love today. They have finished mid-table frequently. 11th, 7th, 11th, 10th. 6th one seed, that was quite a few years ago. 8th. So they're not a staple of European football. They're not an established top 5 Bundesliga side. This would be a bit more of a rebuilding job here at Leipzig. And that might be something I can quite look forward to, actually. I'm quite excited with the prospect of that. We've said this is the best chance we've got of a Champions League victory. We've got to build that up in the first place. So actually, it might not be the best chance of a Champions League victory. Zenit might be the best chance of a Champions League victory. As much as I want to go to Romania, I don't think we go now. I think that the fact that Leipzig's available right now, it's not been available hardly ever. If we look at the history managers, if we get rid of the caretaker managers as well, okay. So, to be fair, actually, it's come a few times. It's come a fair few times. 87 days this guy left before he got sacked. Quite demanding, potentially. That could be another risky... And to be fair, I'm assuming that they're going to offer me an interview. We haven't got an interview yet, so maybe that's the wrong thing to go for. I think we've got a really good chance of Viktoria Plzen. And right now, I think I'd rather go to Viktoria Plzen than Viitorul if that came up. So I think we're going to reject Viitorul. Zenit potentially is there. I'd like to go to Zenit as well. So I think what we do is reject Viitorul. Now, this does not mean we can't go back to Romania in the future. Like I said last episode, we've got so much time until FM21 comes out. We could win a Champions League next season with Partizan, for example, if we didn't leave. That wouldn't be the end of the series. We just explore more of Eastern Europe. We could go to Leipzig. We could win a Champions League with Leipzig, and yes, that's the pinnacle or whatever. But I'd want to come back and explore these other leagues as well. Just sort of see what happens in these leagues and try and go on a good European run with a Viitorul, for example. So there's no reason why we can't come back here, although the transfer budget of £28 million is massive. Right now, I don't think this is the right opportunity for us. So I'm going to walk away. As painful as it is, I'm going to walk away. I've pressed it now and I feel like I'm regretting it. Oh, this episode is going to be really, really difficult. Really difficult. This better pay off. Oh, and it has paid off. Leipzig have just offered us a job interview. RB Leipzig have just offered us a job interview. Whoa, okay, this is huge. Huge. Thanks for inviting me along. Love it. Language, I can pick up German easy. Darf ich bitte meine Jacke ausziehen? I think that means, can I take my blazer off, please? That's like the only thing I remember from school. So there we go. Darf ich bitte meine Jacke ausziehen? How do you like that, mates? Yes, I can pick the language up very, very easily. I have some reservations regarding the fact you've never managed in the country before. It's not an issue. I've always wanted to manage in the country. Give me a chance. We say that every single time. It works. While we felt acceptable to apply to a number of jobs whilst employed by another team, it's acceptable when you consider how long I've been in management. The next question, you're in the running for a few jobs. I'm considering my options. We receive a large amount of media attention and your media handling has been dubious to say the least. Why is that the case? I've got a lot to learn. I need to learn on my job. Give me the job, please. I will say that to them. Media controversies, I've not. I really haven't been, but I promise you there'll be a good atmosphere at the club. Don't you worry. Director of football, I can work with them. Backroom staff, yes, I'd like to bring Shitty in, so give me a small budget to make some changes, please. Right, club culture, high tempo pressing football. We can do that. Attacking football, we can do that. Develop players using the club's youth system, we can do that. Mid-table finish, well, that seems a bit low, but yeah, we can do that. Grow the club's reputation and eventually get top half. That looks reasonable. Clubs have got an exciting future. I can work towards that. That's fine. We want a mid-table finish. Can you do better than that? To try and really hammer home that I want this job, yes, we can finish top half. I'll say that. Oh my God, a transfer budget of £161 million. Yeah, that's absolutely fine, lad. 161 million. Yeah, I've worked with that, a few times. I've had bigger budgets, maybe. I'm trying to play it off cool in the interview. But yeah, 161 million, that is fine. £3.6 million in we are in the money here at Leipzig. Thaddeus Igalo, come over to Leipzig, please. That'd be fantastic. I'll be happy to work with the proposed wage budget as well. Any other things to consider? I have no requests to propose. Excellent. I think that went well. Oh, I can't believe we got offered the Leipzig, well, offered an interview at the Leipzig place. That is sick, to be fair. So now we just have to sort of sit and wait, see if we get offered the job, and also wait for Viktoria Plzen as well. My head might be turned by that £161 million transfer budget, honestly. Not heard anything yet, and now I've got to start rejecting transfer offers for players that I've just been ignoring, thinking that I'm going to leave the club soon. So I need to reject all these transfer offers, and hopefully we get offered these jobs. Oh, could you imagine? Oh, Viktoria Plzen. They've now offered me a job interview as well. This is the dream come true. 4 jobs we've applied for, and we've had interviews for all 4. This is absolutely perfect. Viktoria Plzen, let's have a chat with you, and let's get down to business. Again, you've not managed in the country. Give me a chance. It'll be fine. I want to work there. Jobs, I feel acceptable. I feel like they're all the same questions, aren't they? They're all the same questions. I'm just going to answer them the exact same way as I normally do. This one's about... can you perform to expectations? Something the last manager didn't do. I've got a good record when it comes to meeting expectations set by previous clubs. Because I do, apart from CSK Moscow when they sacked me. But I do normally. How do you feel about potentially replacing a manager who is very much liked by the supporters? They asked me this at CSK Moscow, and I said that I've got a strong relationship with the fans wherever I've been, which is true. So that works. Director of football, I can work with him. That's fine. Small budget to make changes to staff. Play attacking football, entertaining football. Interestingly, sign players based in the Czech Republic. No foreign players coming in. That's what they don't want. So fair play. No over 30s. The club's youth system developed. That's fine. End of the current season. Win silver. Okay, they've got some big requests here. Big requests. Win silverware. Reach the Champions League playoff places, which is the qualifying round. Finish in the top 2 places in the league. Cup final. Okay. So they're asking quite a lot, to be fair. As in, they're demanding instant success. That seems perfectly acceptable to me, though. That's what I'll say. Top 3 places in the league. Do I think I can do better than that? Well, what's the difference between top 3 and challenging for the league title? I'll say challenging, because that sounds a bit better. I guess that means first or second, though, doesn't it? But I'll say that. That's what we can do. £27 million, £28 million, basically, in the budget. That seems fine. 438 is a lot less than RB Leipzig, but that's happy. I'm happy to work with that. That's fine. No other requests. Okay, nice one. Okay, all the interviews are done then. Big decisions to make. Well, I'm saying this as if I've actually been offered the jobs. I've not been offered the Leipzig or the Plzen job yet. If I get offered the jobs, then there'll be a big decision to make. Until then, it's at least I've got Zenit. At least we've got Zenit in the bag if we need to. If that's what we want, sort of thing, as the season sort of ticked over. More transfers to reject. I hope it doesn't bite me in the back and I'll have to turn all the jobs down. I mean, obviously we can still say it Partizan, but I think from what you've seen, I'm pretty much done with Partizan, and I think you guys will be too. It's a bit like, oh, we've done it now. We've won 2 leagues, we've won 2 cups, we got pretty close in European football, but Partizan aren't quite good enough to get there, at least right now. It'll take a good few years to do it. Oh, this is big. Leipzig want me to suggest changes to the staff. And from experience, this means they're going to offer you the job. So obviously, Shitty Gel, come with me. All these people, they're interested in bloody coming to Leipzig. Weren't bothered coming to Romania with me, were they? But they're all like, oh, can we come to Leipzig with you? No, you're all snakes. Shitty Gel's the only person coming in. This guy's getting a sack. By the way, compensation budget. They give me £7 million in compensation budget to get rid of people that I don't want. I mean, what's this youth development guy like? Control possession. He's not actually that bad. He's actually very good. Let's keep him in there. That's absolutely fine. So yeah, just Shitty Gel change there. So that's fine. No other changes needed. We just want Shitty Gel coming with us. And I presume what this means is after someone's won the elections at Partizan, it doesn't matter too much because we're leaving the club. I assume we're going to have a job offer any day now, although it's not come through yet, and I'm getting a little bit worried, and my voice is, oh, here it is. Leipzig offering me a 3-year deal, 161 million to spend. Delay. I'm going to delay. I want to see, they agreed to delay. I want to see if Viktoria Plzen come back to us, because I am I have said for a long time I want my next job to be with a Czech or Croatian side, but I wasn't expecting Zenit and Leipzig to also be available and offer me jobs. That changes everything. They've not come back though and said, do you want to sack the assistant manager to bring Shitty in though? They've not asked that yet, although they have now. So let's suggest changes. Again, none of these lads want to come to Viktoria Plzen with me, do they? They do want to come to RB Leipzig. Absolute snakes, all of them. Shitty though, every single time he's happy to come with us. So Shitty in, this lad, out you go. That's absolutely fine. This guy, Shitty will be coming as assistant manager, providing we get offered the job, which I assume we're going to because they've asked me to sack the assistant manager already to bring Shitty in. And there we go. Viktoria Plzen also offering us a 3-year deal on 10 grand a week, which seems quite a lot compared to what Leipzig were offering. They offered 14 grand a week, but they've got a huge budget. 10 grand a week seems like quite a lot of money at Viktoria Plzen. Let's have a quick look at the team. Oh, very, very small team at Viktoria Plzen. They've obviously offloaded lots of players. And I've obviously... and the season doesn't start... In fact, it's July. 4th of July. That's the 7th month, isn't it? They've got a game in 2 weeks' time. They've got a game in 9 days. And this is the team. And I meant to build a team at... How many players have they got? They've got 21 players. I just had to count through. They've got 21 players. The B teams, they've got players in the B team. But very young players. Oh, we'd have to do a lot of signings here. And obviously, what have we promised them? We've promised them to win silverware this... That might not happen, if I'm honest with you, because it's a difficult team that with that squad that we've got. That's what I mean. There's not really any squad there. Zenit, their squad is also relatively small, which is a bit surprising. But they have got some decent players. Although Jonat Radu is probably going down a little bit. Carlos Perez is a good player. Ezekiel Palacio. They've got an older... Well, I say an older squad. The names I recognise are the older players. The other ones are all regens, aren't they? Scott McTominay still around there. It's a smaller squad, though. Leipzig squad is bigger, which obviously gives a lot bigger, to be fair. But Dani Olmo has requested to leave the club. This guy has requested to leave the club as well. Players are wanted. This guy might be even leaving. So actually, we might have a big challenge here with an unsettled dressing room. So really, the squads don't really matter, do they, at this stage? Because they're all a little bit mental at the moment by looks of things. My heart, okay, or at least one half of my heart is saying Viktoria Plzen. I've wanted to go to the Czech Republic for a while to be a manager there. It was more of a Prague thing because I like the Prague clubs. But Viktoria Plzen doesn't matter really. The other half of my heart says you've got unfinished business in Russia. Go to Russia and just grab CSKA Moscow by the throat, choke slam through a table. My head is saying Leipzig because it's the biggest club possibly available to us in this entire save. It will give us a massive reputation boost. It'll be interesting because it's a bit of a rebuilding thing there. Obviously, they're a mid-table club, they're not a top team. It's a rebuild them back to the Champions League. The finances are there to potentially win a Champions League. It all sort of falls into place there. And then once we may have had some success there, we might not even win a Champions League there. We might have to come back to Russia in a few years' time with a Zenit to win a Champions League. And even if we do win a Champions League there, we can always come back to other clubs around, obviously, the Eastern Bloc part. Obviously, we can come back to Czech Republic, Croatia, Romania. We can come back to these places. Just because we do well at a Leipzig or a Zenit and win a Champions League potentially doesn't mean this is finished. So I've sat down and I've had a think. And I'm still not 100% sure. So I'm going to do what I've done in other situations and use the phone a friend situation. Hello, are you there?
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, brilliant. All right, boys. I need your help because I'm pretty stuck on this. Okay. So there's 3 jobs available to me. There's Viktoria Plzen in Czech Republic. There's Zenit St. Petersburg in Russia, and there's RB Leipzig in Germany. And they've all got their pros and cons. Thoughts?
Go on, Ethan.
I mean, straight away, Zenit, huge club, unfinished business in Russia. Big names like Hulk used to play there. Really stick it to CSK. I mean, for me, go there, win the Champions League with them. Easy.
Oh, really? That's big. That's big.
Yeah, and then go over to Germany and do it all again. Manager of your caliber, that's nothing. You're Tom
Yeah.
FM.
Yeah, precisely. How could I forget that? Yeah. Teds, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I completely agree. I don't know if it says something about me as a person, but revenge is sweet. So I think go there and show Moscow what they're missing.
I love that. Revenge is sweet. That should be the slogan for the whole series as well.
You know what? I'm feeling that. I am feeling that. Let me just give you a quick. This might change your mind. So Zenit, if we click on them, hang on. If I can find their job offer, which it's gone away. They were going to give us like £30 million or so to spend on transfers and stuff. Leipzig were going to give us 161 million.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's changed your mind or not.
161.
161 million, yeah.
It's all relative, though. I think in Russia that 30 million would go a long way, whereas in like the top 5 leagues you need a lot more money to even compete.
But if we want to win a
champion,
champion,
want from the save.
I mean, for me, Zenit is a club where they're in the Europa League. I reckon we could win that Europa League, and it's more for the revenge on Moscow than anything. I'm not sure if this is a club that's going to win as a Champions League.
I think you might be right. I think 161 million. That swayed me.
That's a lot to turn down. There's a lot of different storylines and options that you could do with some really top class players.
So you're both sort of like Viktoria Plzen in Czech Republic, kind of like no.
I think they're not.
I mean, they're not even in the same league as either. If Leipzig's at the top,
yeah.
If Leipzig's at the top, and then you've got Zenit in the middle, I mean, they're not even close.
They're the only club that's actually currently in the Champions League out of those 3 clubs. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Any idea on transfer budget from them?
Yeah, they're going to give us £28 million to spend.
Oh, see, because that could be it. But I mean, it depends what you want. I like the obscure leagues. I always have.
Yeah, but their season starts in 9 days' time. I've looked at their senior squad. They've only got 20 players. It's a bit of a small squad.
I think you've got to think that it's going to be a very tough job to win the Champions League with the Czech Republic team.
True.
You're not doing more of the
28 mil.
That wouldn't be the aim at this Czech Republic side. Like the whole aim of the series, I suppose, is to try and just go to different places and like I said, like we could win a Champions League with a Zenit or a Leipzig, and we could go to a smaller club afterwards. That's not the issue. So that wouldn't be that. Winning a Champions League isn't the end of the day. We can go somewhere really small after that to just explore elsewhere. So we could always come back to any of these clubs at any point. I think for me, I am leaning towards that Leipzig job.
You never would have guessed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I need you guys to help me sort of make the decision. And then when you both said Zenit, I was thinking, that's not quite what I want to do, which I think is helped me make the decision. So I think I'm going to reject this Viktoria Plzen job right now. We can come back there at a later date. I think Leipzig is too good to turn down right now.
I think this happened after
I can
I think I told you to take the other job and you didn't listen to my opinion last time.
This was a while ago. The
it's
viewers may remember. The viewers may remember
You're
it was between Pushkas Academy and Dynamo Donetsk. I think it was that at least. And you told me to go to Dynamo Donetsk, and I said, in that case, that's you saying that's made me think I want to go to Pushkas. So that's what it is. And Zenit now want an answer. £29 million that they're giving us. Zenit now want revenge.
If your head's saying no,
I tell you what,
then you've got to go with what you want.
Revenge is sweet, all right. And Zenit St. Petersburg, the revenge would be sweet. However, it would be even sweeter if later down the line it's Spartak Moscow who give me a job.
True.
And then I could do it with their biggest rivals.
I respect that.
And I think that's me talking myself out of a Zenit job.
No, that's the choice. I like that.
Yeah,
And
you do you, man.
I did put a poll out on Twitter because this is coming out on tomorrow, which is Thursday. And yesterday's episode, as people are watching this, but like 10 minutes ago, I didn't have these job offers. I've played it, got the job offers, and I put a tweet out saying we might have these job offers, we might not have these job offers, and 56% of people want to go to Leipzig apparently. So
well, actually, you've got to go where people want to see.
Yeah. See, I'm surprised by that because I thought everyone hated Leipzig because they're like the,
Yeah, a bit of Red Bull. It's a bit of a franchise, isn't it?
But, well, boys, thank you. I think I've made my choice. I think it's time to go to Leipzig.
Wow. That's the headline.
That is the headline. It really, really is. But Zenit St. Petersburg, I'm walking away from you. Goodbye. Talks are broken down with me and Zenit. Can I get this right now, RB? I might have to wait until like it comes around again because I want to accept it now. I can't accept it now. I've got to wait until they come back to me in a week's time, which means I've got to play Marseille in a friendly. I'll get Shitty Joe to do that for me. That's fine. Right.
Well, boys,
thank you. You've been a true help, and yeah, that was big. Thank you very much.
Thank you, mate. All the best.
No problem. See you later.
So I've just done the whole introduction to the club, realised that I wasn't recording it, so got to do it all over again right now. But we're here at Leipzig. Like, we're here. You love to see it. I'm not entirely sure how much cut off, but you might have missed me just press accept. Essentially, all you've missed is me press accept and have to go through that initial board meeting, and then I went through some players and stuff, but like it's not a big deal. I can just redo it again now. Just have to do talking for another 10-15 minutes or so. That's fine. That's fine. So we've identified 3 key players, essentially, but 2 of them I'm kind of okay to get rid of. Dani Olmo is here. Now, when we checked the squad, there were players that wanted to leave the club. They requested to leave the club, but they don't now because Dani Olmo was one of them and he's not got a request to leave the club. So maybe I've come in and they've changed their mind. So we've still got Dani Olmo at the club. He's the star player. 32 years old now. He's going to start declining a little bit, but is, as it stands, the best player in the squad right now. So I think it makes sense to sort of build the squad around him to start off with. Been at Leipzig since he moved there in real life and has never got below a 7 rating. So it looks like an absolutely solid player for the team. We then have Stanislas Kitoko, who's a striker, but he's only got 11 finishing, which I find a little just very low. I mean, his first touch and dribbling, amazing. Passing, amazing. Yes. But 11 finishing for a striker? I struggle with that a little bit. I really do. He got 54 goals in 63 appearances for the Congo. But in terms of Leipzig, he's not really scoring goals. He's getting a few assists and a few goals, but nothing like extraordinary. And then according to the report, the third best player is also a striker, Karim Adeyemi, but he's only got 12 finishing. And his first touch and dribbling are also pretty average. So I'm kind of struggling to see where the goals are coming from in this squad. He's got 13 goals one season, so maybe it's not too bad. But these 2 strikers, I just don't like them already, just because they've got really low finishing. And if we could ship them off for a combined fee of like £100 million and we save a lot of money in wages, like, that's something to think about. I also know a couple of young strikers who might be interested in joining the club. Thaddeus Igalo, Zoltan Horvath, Jimbrun Slots. There's a few of them. Luckily for us, though, we do have some young players coming through, and one of them is a striker who's got 15 finishing, which is pretty decent. So he might be our first choice striker, despite not being quite as good in his overall ability as the other players. But 3-star current ability, 5-star potential, 18 years old. I think we need to give him game time this season, definitely. Also need to give game time to this centre midfielder who's a box-to-box midfielder, which you absolutely love to see. I love a good box-to-box midfielder. Armin Dabble, or Dobble. I'm not quite sure the accent is meant to be on the A, but Dobble, we'll call him that. Again, looks really, really good for 18 years old. He needs game time this season. Has got the media description of Wonder Kid as well. I assume the other chap does as well. Yeah, Wonder Kid, you love to see it. And this guy with 5-star potential, Onur Gul, is not a Wonder Kid. And at 21 years old, 5-star potential, 2.5-star current ability, I don't think he's going to make it as a great player. I mean, obviously he's a good squad player, but won't reach that 5-star potential, I don't think. And for a wing-back with only 10 crossing, 11 dribbling, not high enough for me, especially at this level as well. So I think he's kind of got to go too. Or not go, but he just won't be the first choice, I guess, for us. Incidentally, we don't have a reserve team. We just have an under-19 squad, and there's 3 players there with 5-star potential. 15, 16, 17, that's how old they are. This guy looks pretty decent as a centre-back. 15 years old. The thing is, I'm not sure how long we're going to be here, so we might not ever see him reach his potential. Like, he's 15. 5 years, we've got to wait till he gets to 20, when he might be pretty decent. But are we going to be in here in 5 years' time? I'm not too sure. Probably not in 5 years' time. Maybe 4 years or 3 years, but maybe not 5. We've also got this guy, Cording, who's a fullback on the left-hand side, 16 years old, 2-star current ability. I think this guy looks really good. Again, if we retrain to be more of a fullback, wing-back, with good crossing and dribbling, could be really, really decent for us. But again, will we see him get there? And this guy, Simon Dopatka, is a centre-back, a libero. You don't see that often, but could be retrained as a ball-winning defender, 17 years old too. Again, we've got some really, really good young players in this squad. Financially, we are doing incredibly well. £402 million in the bank, £161 million to spend. We've got £1.5 million extra to spend on wages if we want to, which is mental. Sponsorship. We've got a main kit sponsor of £69 million for a year. I doubt we'll do better than that ever again. That's mental, but that's why, partly as to why we've got so much money in the club, which is amazing. I think we're going to have a really good time here at Leipzig. A really good time. Now, obviously, this season we've got no European football, which actually is a little bit strange for us, considering that we have had European football for quite a long time and have won European competitions. But obviously, this season we focus on the Bundesliga, and I think because it's obviously one of the top leagues in Europe, third best in Europe right now. If we go to rules, there's a lot of scope for European football, a lot of prize money. Whoa, the prize money in the Bundesliga is amazing, but top 4 straight to the Champions League group stages, that's got to be our aim this season. Currently, we are favourites to come 9th in media predictions. The right additions to the squad, I think we can push that up to a top 4 maybe. It's a rebuild here. It's a rebuild at Leipzig. That's what we're doing. We're actually going to have a bit of a challenge. Obviously, we've had it so easy at Partizan, and to an extent at CSKA Moscow as well, coming second in the table there. This is a lot more of a rebuilding job. So I'm going to play through pre-season, get rid of 1 or 2 players. I mean, there must be some crap players in this squad. If we sort to buy ability again, yeah, there's loads of players we can probably get rid of and save wages on the... I mean, we've got loads of goalkeepers. We've got so many goalkeepers who are rubbish. In fact, saying that, all our goalkeepers are rubbish. Goalkeeper is somewhere we need to sign. So goalkeeper, Christian Fruchtel, are you free? Because obviously we need a good goalkeeper coming in. Maybe 1 or 2 other positions as well. I'll look into it a little bit more as I progress through the transfer window and stuff. But I'll be back tomorrow for the Bayer Leverkusen game, the first game of the season. And that'll be difficult because Bayer Leverkusen are a very good team, predicted to come second this season. Have done very well in European football recently. They won a Europa League in 2022, which actually is 8 years ago now, but they're a good team. It'll be a real test on the opening day of the season for us. So there we have it. We've got a new club. I hope you're happy with it. I know there'll be plenty of people in different camps. You got the Zenit camp and all that kind of stuff, but we're here now, all right? We'll be here for a few seasons. We'll try and mount a bit of a Champions League push, and after that, we can move on to different clubs and do different things. So I hope you can stick with me. If you've enjoyed today's episode, I hope you have dropped a like on the video. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Goodbye.